At LawHer, we're supporting you in claiming your rightful place at the top. As women in law, we know the challenges and triumphs of breaking barriers and shattering glass ceilings, and no one does it alone. Join me at PIMCon in Scottsdale, Arizona from September 15th to 17th for PIMCon, the inaugural Personal Injury Mastermind Conference. This is your chance to network with titans in the legal industry, conquer your law firm's marketing, and go from good to go. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to elevate your practice and connect with like-minded, ambitious women in the field like Season 1 guests Jen Gore and Sarah Williams. Tickets are limited, so secure your all-access pass today by heading to pimcon.org. That's PIMCON.org. I'll see you there.
As a matter of fact, I have been detained by ICE and put in a cell. That experience helps me with my advocacy for them. And it feels so rewarding knowing that I was able to keep a family together because I was in the same situation.
Social media was the great equalizer, and I think AI is starting to become that.
I'm here as an immigrant to help other immigrants, and that has been my passion for a very long time.
For the 8th consecutive year, women outnumber men in law schools across the nation. Yet, this wave of change has not reached the shores of power. Women hold a mere 25% of seats at the table as board members and managing partners. But the tides are turning. Women in law are no longer meekly waiting for an invitation. They are boldly striking out, creating a future where success is defined on their own terms, and law firms fit into their lives, not the other way around. As this new generation of trailblazers rises, we stand with them, ready to amplify their voices and fuel the transformation. This is LawHer. I am Sonia Palmer, your host and VP of Operations at Rankings, the SEO agency supporting you in claiming your rightful place at the top. This season, we're thrilled to present our new miniseries, Launching Her Firm, where we follow the journeys of women attorneys in the early days of opening their own practices. Be inspired by their stories as they navigate the challenges of securing clients, managing finances, hiring staff, and achieving work-life balance as founders. Claudia Galan isn't just an attorney, she's a social media phenomenon and a tech-savvy entrepreneur and a beacon of hope for immigrants navigating the complex U.S. legal system. From her thriving San Antonio law firm to her 45,000 TikTok followers, Claudia's success is rooted in a profound mission to serve those who walk the path she once tread. From experiencing life as an undocumented immigrant to becoming a U.S. citizen and now a powerhouse attorney, Claudia brings a unique perspective to every case she handles. In today's episode, we'll explore how Claudia leverages her personal experiences to build deeper client relationships, harnesses the power of social media to reach undeserved communities, and utilizes cutting-edge AI to streamline her practice. Let's dive in.
It's hard to say what really inspired me or made me decide to go into the legal field, but since I was little, even in middle school, my nickname was La Abogada, the lawyer. So back in Mexico in middle school, I will always stand up for my classmates if they were getting in trouble with the teachers, professors, and I thought it was unjust or, I just had to step in and advocate for them. I had that feeling of helping other people that were in need.
Did you feel like you were sort of being forced down a path, or it was a direction you really wanted to go because you identified with it when you were so young?
It was not enforced at all. I come from a family in the medical field. My dad is a doctor in Mexico. Both of my grandparents, his parents are doctors in Mexico. And I think my dad expected me to go to medical school. And when I was kid, he will take me to his surgery. So I observed some of his surgeries as a child. But that was never what interested me. In fact, when he found out that I was going to go to law school, he was a little disappointed, but now he's super proud of me. I'm the first lawyer in the family. My mom actually wanted to be a lawyer. She shared that with me. Because of her resources in Mexico, she was only able to go to university for teacher. Actually, back then, they didn't even have to go to university. They just sort of like go to a high school, technical high school / school for teachers. And that's what she did. And once we moved to the US, I got involved a lot with the Dreamers and immigrants in South Texas, and I knew that for sure that I wanted to be a lawyer.
So then, how did your family's migration to the United States and your experience as an undocumented immigrant impact your perspective on the legal system and then your decision to become an attorney?
I think it's really an asset that I can use because I can relate to my clients a lot. At first, when I came in, I was 18 years old. I was undocumented for about 3 years. And up until my 21st birthday, I couldn't really go to college because I didn't have a social security, I didn't have a work permit. So I was just learning English actually and working under the table, kind of selling things here and there. And finally, when I started the process, I was able to enroll to college. That experience alone has helped me to understand my clients and just see really what they're going through. As a matter of fact, I have been detained by ICE and put in a cell, which is terrible, terrible. I wasn't there for long, but the few hours that I was there, I was going crazy, pulling my hair, eating my nails. And I can just imagine my clients that have been detained for years. I have clients that have been detained for more than a year. So that experience helps me with my advocacy for them. It gives me a lot of passion for what I do. And it feels so rewarding knowing that I was able to keep a family together because I was in the same situation.
You had that passion for justice when you were younger, and then to have experienced that, I imagine that makes you very powerful for your clients, to sort of have both that innate, but then also that lived experience as well. Your dad's a doctor and your mom wanted to be a lawyer. A lot of ambition there. So, what other values did your parents instill in you that have helped guide your career path and your commitment to serving the Hispanic community?
Perseverance, sacrifice, and hard work. I saw it in my parents when they left their careers. My dad left his doctor career to come over here. Doctors cannot really, from Mexico, practice here in the US. So he had to take a job, cut his salary. My mom, at times, he had to stay behind in Mexico because she had to keep working and be a teacher and retire. So I saw a lot of their sacrifice that they made for us. And, all of that was passed down to me. I learned it from them. Hard work and perseverance is one of my core values too. And that's what helps me. And that helped me through law school, through taking the bar exam, and now through practicing that even on the most difficult cases where I think this is not going to be approved, or cases where we get denied, but we appeal and we keep appealing until we get a grant. So I think that's really what helped me. And now in my career, my clients can benefit from it.
Before launching your firm, you worked with asylum seekers at the border. How did this work impact your understanding of the immigration system and your commitment to advocating for immigrants' rights?
Wow, it opened my eyes. I didn't really know much of the immigration system. I went through it. I became a resident and then I became a US citizen. My sister as well, my mom as well. We're actually in the process of our citizenship right now, barely. And being and living it and growing up, or not growing up, but when I came over here, just going to school in South Texas, right by the border, I learned that there is a need for advocacy and for real attorneys that want to help others. There's a lot of trafficking in South Texas. The asylum process is not fair. What it was before is not what it is now, unfortunately. And for some of people that want to come in and ask for asylum now, there is an imaginary wall because they cannot get through the process. Back then, there was a process that will go into a detention center and then they will have an interview and then they can qualify for a release or a bond and or some sort of humanitarian release from detention so they can continue their asylum process over here. The beginning when we had all those influx and caravans of people, waves of people from Central America waiting at the border, I had to go and really help them and hear from them why they were really coming over here. The fear and everything that they went through to leave their homeland and risk their lives, their children's lives, just to be safe in this country.
I can't imagine that anyone really frivolously decides to leave their home like that. There has to be something incredible that motivates. What then motivated you to start your own firm right out of law school? And what were some of the most significant challenges you faced in those early stages?
I was always an entrepreneur, selling things or a go getter. And I knew I wanted to have my own law firm and be my own boss. I had worked with other lawyers in the past. I had interned with Homeland Security at USCIS as well during law school. And I had great mentors. Having great mentors made me feel safe and secure that opening my own law firm as soon as I got licensed, that I was going to be okay and my clients were going to be okay. I think the biggest challenge at the beginning was getting myself out there, getting clients. I was very lucky early on and blessed to have had a case that made national news 2 months after I got licensed. And that gained a lot of exposure, gave me a lot of exposure around the country. I represented a US citizen kid. He was 18 years old and he was detained with ICE for almost a month. Finally, we got the community to advocate for him. With the help of them, he was released the following day. And after that, trust me, I'm still helping U.S. citizens getting detained to be released. And as a matter of fact, I currently have a case where my client was deported. A U.S. citizen was deported. There is just so many injustices in the system. It's not fair. ICE is really not looking into this possible U.S. citizenship claims.
How did you, right out of law school, having just opened your firm, how did you navigate that media attention?
It was so overwhelming because I still had work to do. And my phone was ringing from 6 a.m. in the morning until like 1 or 2 a.m. People calling from other countries, even from overseas, Europe, Spain. It was amazing. But I had to put a stop to it. I'm like, okay, we need to continue with, my work. And after that, thank God it kind of just died down. I'm still invited to Univision, Telemundo, and interviews, but it's a lot less. But it was very, very overwhelming at first.
I can imagine. Would you do anything differently or would you do what you did the same?
I wouldn't change anything. Going through law school, going through taking the bar multiple times, of course, I wish things had been different. But I believe that even those experiences and those small failures in my life just helped me just be more resilient and persevere. Whenever things weren't going well, I just kept going. I had one main goal, which was to get my license and be a lawyer. There was no other career that I even considered at the time. So I don't think I would have changed anything.
And then what advice would you give to new attorneys considering launching their own firms, particularly in managing things like finances and marketing and then building a client base? At LawHer, we're supporting you in claiming your rightful place at the top. As women in law, we know the challenges and triumphs of breaking barriers and shattering glass ceilings, and no one does it alone. Join me at PIMCon in Scottsdale, Arizona from September 15th to 17th for PIMCon, the inaugural Personal Injury Mastermind Conference. This is your chance to network with titans in the legal industry, conquer your law firm's marketing, and go from good to go. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to elevate your practice and connect with like-minded, ambitious women in the field like Season 1 guests Jen Gore and Sarah Williams. Tickets are limited, so secure your all-access pass today by heading to pimcon.org. That's PIMCON.org. I'll see you there.
Have a business plan. I didn't have a business plan at the beginning. I just dived into it right away. Just went through the motions, getting some clients here and there. And I thought, okay, well, I'll learn with the process. I did learn with the process. But looking back, I wish I had a business plan. I had even a marketing plan as well. Social media back in 2019 was really growing as far as for lawyers. It wasn't a common thing, but using TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all those social media platforms, I was going live every single day at the beginning. So I could get exposure out there and get more clients and expand my law firm. Definitely commercials were out of reach for me. They were so expensive. Radio commercials were also so expensive. Newspaper ads wasn't really something that people are going through to find a lawyer. Word of mouth helped me a lot. Just giving a good service, good customer service, good representation was helping me a lot to get clients and growing my firm.
Building trust with clients is taking on new forms, and Claudia's success on TikTok is a prime example of this shift. With an impressive 45,000 followers, Claudia has tapped into a powerful way to connect with her target audience. What's particularly noteworthy is her decision to create content primarily in Spanish. This choice speaks volumes about understanding and valuing your audience. For Claudia's potential clients, many of whom are Spanish-speaking immigrants, seeing a lawyer who not only speaks their language but chooses to communicate in it instantly creates a sense of accessibility and understanding. But it's not just about language, it's about presence and consistency. By showing up regularly on a platform her clients use, Claudia is making herself available in a way that traditional law firms often don't. She's not waiting for clients to come to her. She's meeting them where they are, offering valuable information freely and consistently. This approach helps to demystify the legal process, making Claudia appear more approachable and trustworthy. For immigrants navigating a complex legal system in a foreign country, this kind of transparent, accessible presence can be incredibly reassuring. And trust is currency, and sometimes building that trust starts long before a client ever steps into your office. It begins with showing up, speaking their language, both literally and figuratively, and providing value without expectation.
I've heard from my clients that my Spanish is really good and they don't even know that I grew up in Mexico and I was born there. But when they find out, they can relate a lot. And immediately there's a connection, there's a trust, and they've told me. So I decided to do my social media in Spanish specifically because I was in South Texas. Most of the people there, immigrants, speak Spanish only. And those were my audience, those were my people. Ever since I started TikTok, my numbers are not as big as other following base for other lawyers, but it's big enough to get me where I am. And I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful about that. And I think that being able to speak their language and knowing their experiences definitely has helped me gain their trust.
I think for your niche, 45,000 is impressive.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you should be very proud of
Thanks.
that. What kind of content are you providing to them that has inherent value? Can you give an example?
Well, I do lives 3 times a week and I answer live questions from people. They can call on the radio and they can ask their question and I answer their question right there and then without going into a lot of the details because of confidentiality issues. But at least they get an understanding of whether they can move forward with the case or where they stand at the moment. I also respond to comments and questions on the comments during the live. Those videos are cut into Q&A sections or little episodes or little clips, and then they're reposted. At the same time, immediately whenever there's anything new within the immigration field and it's sort of policy change, like almost every day, I post a video that I record myself or my marketing guy helps me record it and we post it. At the same time, I started doing some motivational posts. So just to change it a little bit, also funny videos where people can get to know me really, not as in like very formal, very serious professional way, but also more casual and laid back.
A theme this year that as we've been talking to people for season 2 has been access to legal advice, legal help, and how it's not as easy for different demographics, different classes as some people might think that it is. And so social, which is a free platform for people, I think that's a very creative, inventive way to provide service for people who may not be able to afford it otherwise. Have you gotten clients from TikTok? Is this a way to acquire clients?
Yes, definitely. We do keep metrics and statistics. So I want to say that roughly 5% of my clients come from social media. The other half are from like past clients and word of mouth. Now going into my 5th year as a practicing lawyer, 6th year, I've helped a lot of people that can refer me other people across the country, not just here in South Texas. But I'm still doing consultations where nobody has referred them to me, and they tell me that they heard me on TikTok, they follow me on YouTube, and some of them have even followed me for a long time and finally decided to make that step and give me a call.
Amazing. And kudos for you. We work in marketing for lawyers so that you are tracking and can connect where your leads are coming from. That's very hard to do. So kudos to you for adopting that so early on. As your TikTok following continues to grow, how do you plan to leverage this platform to further support and empower the Hispanic community?
By sharing information, bringing real content and real valuable information to them. I'm here as an immigrant to help other immigrants, and that has been my passion for a very long time. So I think that what's really important is to bring honest information to them and not things that are misleading. There's so many information out there, wrong information shared by even other lawyers. It's not true. It's not the law. So I think that when whoever is following me and looking at my videos, they know that what I'm saying has been already checked. And I do check all of that. And if later on, I notice that there is a wrong piece of information on my video, or maybe something where I didn't say correctly, I delete it and make a new video.
For many, the idea of incorporating AI into our practices can seem daunting. But as the tech landscape rapidly evolves, tech is not just a fun toy, it is a necessity. AI is a tool that's reshaping how law firms operate. Claudia's experience offers us a glimpse into this exciting frontier. Claudia's firm has embraced AI as a virtual assistant, enhancing efficiency and productivity in ways that were once unimaginable, allowing her to help more people than ever before. But Claudia's approach also reminds us of an important point. AI is a tool, not a replacement for legal expertise. It's about augmenting our capabilities, not diminishing our role. For women in law, many of whom are juggling multiple responsibilities or building their own practices, AI could be the key to unlocking greater efficiency and work-life balance. It's about working smarter, not just harder. By incorporating AI into her office management, she has seen an increase of productivity by 30%.
This year, we started implementing and using ChatGPT to write letters for clients, or even for office management, for an employee handbook as well. And we've also used AI to create or to transcribe phone calls or recordings with our clients, just to help us make it easier to write their stories. I do a lot of humanitarian cases where those cases require to have a declaration from my client, and that can take a lot of time on the process. So we've also used it for translations as well, automate other processes as well with CRMs and, all this new technical stuff and technological stuff that I don't really know. I'm so thankful that I'm practicing in this time and age, because it just makes it easier to reduce the time of work that we're invested in a case, and we're able to help more people. There's only 11 million of immigrants here in the US, so there's definitely a lot of people to help, and AI, softwares, and the computers have helped us a lot.
Our first guest, Sarah Williams, talked about how she felt like social media was the great equalizer. And I think AI is starting to become that, because everyone has access to it and everyone can use it. And it's so much easier than having to hire all these positions and all of the funds required to start things. So I'm really excited to see what people use it for. You mentioned ChatGPT. Are there any other tools that you're using specifically?
With AI, other than ChatGPT, not at the moment. Within ChatGPT, there's other GPTs that you can create. I've used it to create images for marketing as well. I've used it even to edit my logo, actually. So besides that, there's like an audio transcribers that we used, and so far those are the only ones.
Are there any pitfalls or misconceptions about using AI in a law practice that you would caution other attorneys against?
Well, we have to remember that as attorneys, we have ethical rules to keep client confidentiality. And some of the versions of ChatGPT are not confidential, and that information is used to improve the processes of ChatGPT. So we try to make sure that we're not, whatever we're inputting into ChatGPT, whether it's to maybe edit a little bit, a letter or something, that it doesn't include client's name. So, and it doesn't have to include a client name or address or confidential information. So that's the only thing. Another thing that I will warn lawyers doing, and I created a chat GPT called Immigration Navigator, where it's a research tool for me, kind of like my first point or my started point to any sort of issue that I have with a client or in a case, and I can just type it in there instead of Googling it, and it'll give me, compile a lot of information and sources. It will also cite sources. So we have to make sure as lawyers that we double check those sources or citations. There was actually a lawyer that was reprimanded, sanctioned, yes, for submitting a brief with fake citations. And so that just tells you that he just went in there, wrote a brief, didn't even read it, double checked it, and that's a big no-no.
Yep. I think another theme that we've seen this year, if you're going to try to use AI to cut corners, stuff like that's going to happen. But if your motivation is to improve efficiency or to provide a better product, a better service, you're going to get better results.
Yeah.
So I want to look to the future. How do you envision the future growth of your firm? And what steps are you taking to achieve your goal of building an empire to help more people gain legal status?
Well, at the moment, I'm still hiring for new lawyers because we have a lot of people. We do have a lot of demand. Sometimes I even have to cut on the marketing because it's too much. And we want to make sure that we are doing quality work also at the same time as we're taking on new clients. So we are expanding in other things. I have some new projects in mind where I would like to be more involved in the community and highlight entrepreneurs and highlight immigrants' stories, not just talking about immigration, but also talking about people and who we are and why we came over here and what we've done and we've accomplished. Really, what's the American dream? And so that's one of my projects that I'll be starting in a couple of weeks. And also, I want to start doing more social media lives. I've been very busy lately, but I've noticed that going live more often and almost daily will help me increase my social media follower.
What gives you the greatest hope and optimism for the future of women in the legal industry?
I think that setting an example and having other women to look up gives me a lot of hope. I definitely have mentors that are females, and I see them and everything that they were able to accomplish. And I know that there is room for me, and there's a place at the top for me as an immigrant, minority, Hispanic woman. And just like I've been able to get help from all these women and mentorship, I want to give back to those that are coming behind me and, for the future generations. And I think that starting myself, working on that will definitely open up those opportunities for those coming after me.
As women, we often face unique challenges and perspectives that have historically been undervalued in the legal field. Claudia's story shows us that these experiences can become our strength. Whether it's empathy from personal struggles or insights from juggling multiple roles, our diverse backgrounds can help us connect with clients and approach cases in innovative ways. Embracing technology isn't just about efficiency, it's about leveling the playing field. In a profession where women are still underrepresented in leadership roles, tech savviness can expand our reach, streamline our workload, and carve out our own niches, helping us get further and faster with less friction. But remember, as you begin to scale, temper your growth. We often face pressure to prove ourselves by taking on more work. But Claudia reminds us of the importance of sustainable growth. By prioritizing quality over quantity, we can build strong reputations and loyal client bases, essential for long-term success and leadership in the field. Remember, as women in law, we're not just building careers, we're reshaping the profession and how it's done. By harnessing our unique experiences, embracing technology, and growing strategically, we can create a more diverse, inclusive, and innovative legal landscape. If you found this content insightful, inspiring, or it just made you smile, please share this episode with a trailblazer in your life. For more about Claudia, check out our show notes. And while you're there, please leave us a review or a 5-star rating. It really helps others discover the show. And I will see you next week on LawHer, where we'll shed light on how another of the brightest and boldest women in the legal industry climbed to the top of her field. Until next time, stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep making waves in the legal industry. You've got this.